Hey everyone, Joe Waxman here, and a Merry Christmas to you. It's Christmas morning, but I'm doing a video anyway. I know a lot of you probably won't have other things to do, family and whatnot, but I'm doing astrology. So in this video, I want to look at the chart of Andy Warhol. So famous pop artist of the 60s and 70s and 80s. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button and please subscribe if you have not already. And I am hosting my class tonight. Hold on a minute. So if you are available and you want to join me, just email me, let me know if you haven't already, and we'll get you on. All right. Andy Warhol, American visual artist, film director, and producer, was a leading figure in the visual art movement known as pop art. His work explores the relationship between blah, 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 art, advertising, celebrity culture, flourished in the 60s, painting, silk screening, photography, film, and sculpture. So he did like the Campbell soup cans, Maryland diptych, experimental film Empire and Chelsea Girls, and multimedia events known as Exploding Plastic Inevitable. I don't know what that is, but born and raised in Pittsburgh, he initially pursued a career as a commercial illustrator. After exhibiting his work in several galleries, he began to receive recognition as an influential and controversial artist. His New York studio, the Factory, became a well-known gathering place that brought together distinguished intellectuals, drag queens, playwrights, bohemian street people. Excuse me. Hollywood celebrities and wealthy patrons. He promoted a collection of personalities known as Warhol superstars and is credited with inspiring the widely used expression 15 minutes of fame. In the late 60s, he managed and produced the experimental rock band The Velvet Underground and founded Interview magazine. He's authored numerous books. He lived as a gay man, openly as a gay man before the gay lib movement. He was almost killed by radical feminist Valerie Solanas, who shot him inside his studio. After gallbladder surgery, he died of cardiac arrhythmia in 1987 at the age of 58 in New York City, so pretty young. He's been the subject of numerous retrospective exhibitions, books, and feature documentary films. The Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, which holds an extensive permanent collection of art and archives, is the largest museum in the United States dedicated to a single artist. He's been described as a bellwether of the art market. Many of his creations are highly collectible and highly valuable, and his works include some of the most expensive paintings ever sold. This piece sold for $105 million. Blue Sage, Shot Sage Blue Maryland sold for $195 million, which is the most expensive work of art sold at auction by an American artist. Okay, so that's pretty impressive. Alrighty, born in Pittsburgh. In third grade, he had Sydenham's chorea, also known as St. Vitus dance. It's a nervous system disease that causes involuntary movements of the extremities, which is believed to be a complication of scarlet fever. Let's see. He won Scholastic Art and Writing Award. He studied art education and hopes of becoming a teacher. He studied commercial art, so I guess he planned on he studied commercial art. Okay, sorry. He earned a bachelor's degree in pictorial design. His early career was commercial and advertising art. So he worked in advertising and commercial art and design and illustration, and that's where he developed his style. He worked as a shoe designer, developed some certain techniques. Let's see. He was an early adopter of silk screening. And then he got into pop art and started making Campbell's soup cans. It's funny, right? And there's certain something about novelty, and that's what people often don't understand about art. I went to art school, so like I have even though like I don't have a love of art, I have a sort of, because astrologically South Node is in Taurus with Jupiter and Mercury, so like I have a native understanding of art, but my North Node is in Scorpio, so that's why I'm doing like astrology instead of art, right? So I have an understanding and inherent appreciation of art, but I don't want to be an artist. But yeah, like it's the novelty, it has to do with the groundbreaking, just like the discovery, when you discover something new, and it sort of has this value to it. Plus the person, plus Andy Warhol himself gives it value. All right, we'll look at all that. Let's see. He exhibited the works Gold Marilyn, the classic Marilyn, Marilyn Diptych. That's his most famous stuff. Campbell Soup and Marilyn Monroe. And he did a bunch of other commercial stuff and became this pop artist. And he was criticized for capitulating to consumerism, but it's almost like a critique on the, like, how can you criticize consumerism when everyone's consumerist? It's like the same people are criticizing him are being consumerist. So it's sort of like, he's being honest. He's like, this is the way society is. This is what we're all about. We're all about just like plastic, pop lifestyle. So let's at least recognize that and be honest about it. And that is art, if you can point to the truth in a way that's I don't know, meaningful, then it becomes art. He created his Elvis series, 8 Elvises, Triple Elvis. So Elvis is holding a gun, looking like a cowboy, which is interesting. I mean, a gun instead of a microphone, but it's, he's known for singing, but there he's a cowboy, so it's kind of interesting. Elizabeth Taylor portraits. So he's obsessed with like celebrity portraits, pop art, commercial artistry, right? And then he did like he made sculptures with Brillo box, Del Monte peach box, Heinz tomato ketchup, Kellogg's cornflake box, because these are not supposed to be, this is commercial, not art. And then if you're taking commercialism and making it art, it's like, wow, nobody ever thought of that before. I mean, he was the first to do it, so it's really interesting. And commentary on society, what has society become? What have we turned? What are we really valuing in modern society? It's commercialism. I mean, look at the holidays. Look at all the holidays. They've become just this commercial, orgy, right? You just, every single holiday, you just go out and buy, right? And it's just this celebration of consumerism. That's what people are, unfortunately, or for whatever, however you want to. It's just reality, and you can criticize all you want. The same people who are criticizing are buying into it, right? And so it's like empty criticisms. Pop calling the kettle black. At least he's being honest about it. Let's see. Yeah. Warhol groomed a retinue of bohemian and counterculture eccentrics, upon which he bestowed the designation superstars. They participated in Factory Films. Factory was a studio, and he was super popular. And he gathered a lot of people around him, obviously. And Velvet Underground was a really good band. Apart from Nico, which she was not good, but yeah. Then he got shot, and he gave this quote, which is kind of interesting. Before I was shot, I always thought that I was more half there than all there. I always suspected that I was watching TV instead of living life. People sometimes say that the way things happen in movies is unreal, but actually it's the way things happen in life that's unreal. The movies make emotions look so strong and real, whereas when things really do happen to you, it's like watching television. You don't feel anything. Right when I was being shot, and ever since, I knew that I was watching television. The channel switch, but it's all television. And that's funny because you kind of expect them to say the opposite. Like when I was shot, I realized, oh my God, I was alive for the first time. And he's like, no, I confirmed it. I was living, it's all television, which is hilarious because it's irony, and that's art. When you flip something on its head and you give not a cultured, conditioned sort of response, which everyone is just so bound up in, then it becomes art, right? The shocking reality that reality is unreal, and reality is more at that time period, life in his bubble of reality of existence. I'm not saying this is the ultimate reality, obviously not, but it's a commentary on his lifestyle and the lifestyle of people that he's surrounded with, that it's all fake. And it's a brilliant, observation, because so many people live in this, fake reality, and they think, oh, this is so real, right? Fake everything. Everything's fake. And they're like, this is so real. Real food, real medicine, real religion, everything's fake. At least he's honest about it. It's all television. That's the truth. And he liked it that way. I don't like it that way. I say it's all television, but get me to reality. Get me the fuck out of this television. He's like, no, this is life. This is the way it is. He did portrait of Chinese Communist leader Mao Zedong. And let's just move through this. He devoted much of his time to rounding up new rich patrons for portrait commissions, including Iranian people, various celebrities. He was all into like the commercialism, and like he just did things as a business. He was a businessman. Warhol was also being criticized for becoming merely a business artist. I think he was just being honest. He wasn't being like a businessman and being like, oh, I'm so religious and spiritual and meaningful. I mean, he's just being real, right? He's not lying to himself like everyone, like so many people. I don't want to say everyone, but so many people, right? He did a portrait of Jews for the Jewish Museum. He didn't care about Jews. He just like, oh, they're going to sell, which is great because it's honest, and that's art. It's at least he's not being hypocritical, right? Not being like, it's so insincere when somebody can be like, oh, I did a portrait of Jews because I love the Jews, and then they don't give it's like they're lying, right? That's the worst. At least he's being real about it. And nobody can, I don't fault him for that one little bit. Just be real. You need to make money. I need to make money. Everyone needs to make money. Everyone needs to make a living, right? But don't lie about it. And he was commissioned to do different things. He did the orange prints, it's like whatever. Once after the initial novelty, it wears off. Like, that's why the Marilyns were so celebrated, because it was new. But like, you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. There's no real skill or talent in this. He's just making a piece. He's riding on his fame. It's already derivative. It's already derivative. Yes, you can be derivative of your own work. It's hard being an artist. It's hard constantly coming up with new things. And then he died. But he did stuff like this. Campbell's soup can dress. Cool. Still it's derivative, but it's still somewhat, it's like making a leftover dish out of leftovers. You can still do it. It's okay. Mao Zedong. All right. This, this is what it is. This is a pure novelty. It doesn't really mean anything, in my opinion. It's just like, wow, okay, we're going to take a really expensive sports car and paint it in nonsensical, it doesn't make any sense, but it's just like novelty. It's like, okay, he's doing it because he can do it. That's really basically it. And then somebody will buy it because it's a Warhol. And then he did some films and music and some other stuff. All right. So right away you can see Sun in Leo conjunct Ascendant. Brilliant right there. And obviously this super duper grand trine, fire trine, amazing, right? Super talented. Trines represent skills and talents. Trines and sextiles are all about skills and talents. Especially the trine for fire signs, grand fire trine, because Leo is the fifth sign. It's trine Aries. Aries is the first sign. It's fifth. These are fifths. There's perfect harmony with the grand fire trine. The grand fire trine is like the trine of all trines. Grand fire trine is the grand trine it's the trine to rule all trines. Because it's the most harmonious, because the nature of the fifth sign Leo represents the trine, as well as Sag also, because it's trine. They're both trine from the ascendant, trine from the Aries starting point. Aries is always the number one. Aries is always, we always measure everything from the Aries point, right? So if it's trine Aries, then it's good, and that's kind of the nature of Leo. And that's kind of the nature of Sun in Leo and on the ascendant, right? This is purely like celebrity, fame, ego. And he's just being so honest about it. And that's why he's famous. I mean, yeah, Sun is in great dignity in Leo. It's very powerful on the ascendant. Creates a very iconic person. So it's Andy Warhol, right? Andy Warhol. It wasn't just his art. It was anything he put his signature on. Could have been a piece of paper with just his signature. It would have been worth a lot of money, because it's Andy Warhol. It's himself. It's all right here. Sun in domicile in Leo, right on the ascendant, within 1 degree, less than 1 degree. Exactly. This is and the with the pop art, it's the Leo. The Leo is all about shining. It's all about attention. It's all about ego. It's all about showiness. It's all about being in the spotlight, right? That's kind of the nature of Leo. Leo definitely is very creative, but it very much lends itself to popular culture, pop music, pop everything. It's very popular, Leo, right? And then we get this really powerful trine. First of all, the moon in Aries, and then Aries, excellent for Leo as well, because it's the sign of its exaltation. So now Sun and ascendant are trining moon exactly, and bonifying the moon with Leo. And then Aries is giving the initiative ability to start things. Oh, he also started an art school in New York, an art college. New York, a private art institute. So ninth house, right? Art education. That was very important for him. Probably not religion, because Uranus is here, and Uranus is conjunct the moon. So he's very radical, right? And Uranus in the ninth house is not going to be conventional at all. And religion's all about convention. I mean, let's just be honest. It's all about tradition. It's all about obeying the rules and believing whatever story they're feeding you, which is pretty much nonsense. I'm not into religion. It's pretty much all nonsense. Not saying that you can't, again, I just have to qualify just so I don't offend people. Not saying that you can't be a part of religion and be spiritual. You can. There are those who transcend the lower aspects of religion, but a lot of religion is very low-minded. It's not spiritual at all. Most of religion is just like appeasing the sheep. It's really just keep them, the opiate of the masses is really what most religion is. But Uranus rejects that, because Uranus, the real nature of Uranus is to reject conditioning. So any sort of conditioning, any sort of like, you grew up this way, therefore you have to be like this, Uranus is gonna be like, fuck off, leave me the fuck alone before I just smack you around a bit, you know, like, I will go there, like, leave me alone. I swear to God, you are dumb, you are stupid, and you're trying to condition me, and I'm Uranus, and I will not be conditioned by you. So just fuck off, leave me alone. That's Uranus. That's Uranus's attitude, especially in Aries. Aries is not going to take any shit. You know, Aries is so quick to react physically. And it's very inspiring and very initiative. It can really start whatever it wants. It's a great, you know, Aries for starting stuff, bar none, the best sign to start things, whatever, you know, inspiring things, you know. So, but it's perfect for this, you know, for starting a school, for being very inspirational, for being the first in a field, you know, just starting stuff. You know, the factory where he started so many things, right? It's moon conjunct Uranus, like, that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant for being radical, revolutionary, you know, pave maker. What's it called? Yeah, just pushing the envelope, just going, paving, paving new path maker. In any case, and then we got the Sag, South Node Sag, Saturn. All right. Saturn is not great in Sagittarius. It's okay, right? But it's part of this grand trine, and Saturn is very authoritative, generally conventional. Not Sagittarius is not very conventional, but Sagittarius also rules higher education. So, you know, definitely for being a sort of teacher or an authority, or you know, also for like starting school, but it's also fifth house. So fifth house is very creative. Saturn's ruling the 6th and 7th. So for relationships, building relationships, as far as like, you know, artistic relationships, because 7th Lord is going in the 5th. So he's bringing people into the creative realm. And 6th house, very hard at work, very much about work. The commercial aspect, you know, bringing the work into his creativity. 6th Lord in the 5th house, right? He was an illustrator, he was a commercial designer, so he's bringing that element into his artwork. And South Node Saturn definitely has a good foundation in Saturnian type work ethic, discipline, structure, authority. So a lot of that is coming in. He's very, you know, bringing in a lot of Saturnian, and that's why he was so productive. You know, definitely not lazy. Knows how to, you know, get stuff done as far as being an artist. Yeah. but this is only okay. Like these are like, just sun conjunct ascendant. And then moon's also ruling the 12th house. I forgot to mention, so 12th and the 9th. 12th is, very much about art. Now, among other things, but Pluto is square the moon, a little wide square. I also left Sedna in here because I think Sedna, being an outer planet, has a spiritual connotation. It's very, very long orbit. Can't remember how long, but Sedna is a dwarf planet, trans-Pluto, trans-Neptunian. So it's very far out there, but I think this gives some sort of, even though he's a pop artist, Sedna is going to give him a kind of spirit of like depth, because it being like such a deeply spiritual influence. Not that he was a spiritual character, but he has like a spiritual something. And I think it's that bravery, that courage to be honest, right? And to be brutally honest about what he's actually all about, which is consumerism and plasticity and pop culture, right? And it's that combination that's really brilliant, and that's so artistic. And this fantastic grand fire trine with Sun and Leo and the ascendant, that he's so famous. He's not famous for nothing. I mean, often you get these art critics who look at art and they just don't get it, and they're like, I could do that, and these are stupid people. These are stupid people who have no idea about art. And I'm not, there's certainly plenty of room for criticism in the art world. Like a lot of like these art enthusiasts are just complete morons themselves, right? Appreciating what is nonsense because they just want to be in this sort of seemingly high society, and like, oh, I appreciate art, I'm very refined and cultured, right? And you get a lot of idiocy there, and then you get a lot of idiocy on the other sides where there's like kind of, not to be overcritical of that, but like there's people who just don't have any real understanding of art, and they criticize what they believe is bad art or what they don't understand about art, and they don't know how to appreciate it. So there's room on both sides for criticism. I mean, being a Virgo moon, I can criticize everyone. So, yeah. And I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, there's brilliance definitely to Andy Warhol and his art. If it's not. I mean, the Marilyn Monroe portraits are pretty cool, I think. But it does, it's like something that the novelty wears off pretty quick, in my opinion. In any case, this sun in Leo obviously is going to bonify all these other planets in Leo, and Leo is a very creative sign, by the way. But Mercury's in Leo, Venus is in Leo, Neptune is in Leo. And Venus and Neptune, that's going to be Venus conjunct Neptune in Leo. That's very artistic. It's in the first house, very creative, because Neptune is all about the imagination, the creativity, the expansive mind, and perfect for an artist, right? Not so good for a politician because, like I always say, I say this every time, Neptune is the ability to deceive and to lie and to be pretentious, right? And that's good for artists and actors and musicians. It's not good for politicians because then they're deceiving the people. But you see that often, like with Joe Biden. And I hate Joe Biden, so I'm just going to say that out loud, just so everyone knows. But he's a big liar. So that's all he does is lie, because he's got Neptune right conjunct the MC. So he's publicly known for lying. And if you don't know that, you're dumb. You should know that. Yeah, let me backtrack a little bit. Pluto is square the moon, and this is difficult. This is bad for sure. This is, I think, partly responsible for his disease. as a childhood, moon being early childhood, relating to early childhood, moon also relating to the body. Moon is a very, it's the mother, right? And it's early childhood, but it has a connection to the body as does ascendant lord. So ascendant lord, sixth house lord, moon. But moon Pluto is dangerous. Moon square Pluto. It's a dangerous aspect. It's not the only dangerous aspect he has, but as far as it gives him this is an edgy quality as far as it relates to his art. And there was that one print of a car crash, so it's going to make his mind a little bit dark, edgy, destructive, but potent, powerful, right? This is a very deep, and that's going to be really complementary to his pop art, which is highly superficial, right? He'll need some of that depth in order to give it life. The polarity, yin and yang, right? And this square is highly it's dangerous, and there's a certain attraction to danger, right? Dangerous people, girls love the bad boy, that's the stereotype, right? But having this quality where something is very, shiny and novel on the surface, but also has a kind of deep cutting edge quality that's dangerous. It's also interesting and creates artistic value, because you need that tension between these two different sides. Then he also has this Mars and Taurus square Neptune, and Neptune is conjunct Venus in Leo, is first. And Mars would be sort of an element that relates to violence. Pluto is more like death. Mars is violence. And so Venus also being in the first house, that is contributing to sort of a violent reaction to him. He got shot, right? So somebody's mad at him, somebody's angry at him. That's this Venus in the first square Mars. Mars is ruling 9th house and 4th house. So that probably doesn't relate as much. Just in general, Mars square Venus, Venus being in the first, so strong association with the body. Neptune here in the first, I think is relating to disease, and the Neptune is very much square Mars. This is also a very kind of quixotic combination, whereby, and by quixotic, if you don't understand that, it's derivative of Don Quixote, who's chasing windmills, thinking they're dragons. So like kind of insane, but like physically insane, like an insane physicality, especially with the square. So like chasing a delusion, but for artistic purposes, it's probably fine, right? He doesn't need to be realistic. It's okay to chase windmills if you're, being an artist, if you're representing art through that, because you can, make an art piece out of chasing windmills. It'll be, sell for millions of dollars, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be. Neptune is an advantage in the art world, and he has all these trines. He already has the skills. He already has the talent. He needs some tension, something edgy, right? That's the Pluto square Moon, Mars square Neptune, right? These are both valuable for artistry, for artistic purposes. Neptune is also sesqui square the Moon, so for being delusional and fantasy minded, that's excellent, right? I mean, it's not good for reality. It's not good for having, being logical or making sense or being realistic, but it's excellent for being unrealistic and being highly imaginative and delusional, because you can express that well in art, especially if you're skillful and talented, which he is. Insane talents, right? So that works to his advantage. Doesn't work well for everything, obviously. Like, some things are, bringing out that dangerous element where he's pissing people off and he gets shot. So I'm sure he makes enemies. Mars is very, it's in the 10th house. So, and for a daytime chart, Mars actually is considered the out of sect malefic, and it's supposed to be the most damaging planet, right? So Mars in the 10th house is going to create public enemies. And then Jupiter is conjunct Chiron in Taurus. Taurus MCs in Taurus. Taurus is often related to arts, beauty. Taurus gives the body and soul, and maybe not soul, but body and flesh and nourishment and aesthetic quality and beauty and to things. And Jupiter brings success. Jupiter in the 10th is often indicates a very successful career, strong public image. Jupiter is also, it's a little bit wide, but it's square the sun. And Jupiter's ruling the 8th house, so that also is a dangerous element, right? His father died young, and I forgot to mention that. But his father died young, and that's usually seen by the sun. And that could also possibly be related to this Jupiter being the 8th house lord, square the sun, a little bit wide, but still nonetheless. And Chiron also as well is when it's square, it's not great. And Chiron square the sun is going to give that kind of nerdy quality to his personality, the being sort of like geeky but avant-garde, especially conjunct Jupiter. He's making it work for him, certainly. But it definitely, it's not like GQ, or it's sort of like GQ with a twist. Not conventionally attractive, but attractive because he's making it work in a weird artistic way. But Chiron's definitely weird, right? Weird, odd, tends to be rejected, but Jupiter not, right? So this kind of makes his weird geekiness work for him, right? He does have that weird geeky quality, right? The glasses and the splotchy skin, which is part of his disease. Neptune can relate to like weird diseases, hidden diseases, and things like that. So yeah, definitely some issues, but all in all, it probably made it work for him. Also with his house, Saturn's ruling the 6th. South node is conjunct Saturn. So when the South node, as he gets older and North node becomes active, South nodes become inactive. And it being conjunct Saturn, now Saturn is going to lose energy. It's going to, the South node, as he gets older, past 42, it's going to suck the life out of this Saturn. And that's when he's going to have real health problems. Certain health problems when he's young, of course, yeah, some certain bad aspects, difficult squares here, but especially as he gets older, and I believe, combination of things, these squares and sesqui squares, relating to the 1st house and ascendant Lord Sun and Venus and Mars, and all in all, it's really sucking the life out of him as he gets older, and so that's why he died young. Yeah, but I mean, this is a really obvious chart. It's super strong, super talented. And Palpar is very obvious thing in his chart. I didn't really talk about this Mercury. Mercury's ruling the 2nd and 11th house, and it's about 10 degrees from his sun in the 12th quadrant, 1st whole sign house. 2nd house will be security, resources, finances. 11th also is career success and finances. So that's probably quite good for money, being in the 1st house, or 12th first, right? And also, he was sort of a community leader, especially at certain times. I mean, North Node in the 11th house is going to make somebody have a huge following. That's one of the things about North Node in the 11th. So the people really gather around you. You can become like like almost like a cult leader, right? Because the groups and networks and popularity, career success, and also for long-lasting success, being remembered long after you're dead. It's very much 11th house. But yeah, strong 10th and 11th house and 12th house and first house. Yeah. Let's take a peek at his draconic chart. So Saturn is exalted basically in the third house. So media, intellect, writing, these are all going to be prominent for him as well. Multimedia, he made movies as well. So not just arts, but like, the third house, writing, communicating, that's going to be quite good for him as well. Strong Aquarian vibe here for quirkiness, really boosting that Uranian quality, community, social things, socially minded. Jupiter and Pisces, excellent for creativity and relationships in the 7th, moving into the 8th. More Pisces, Mars and Pisces. Pluto right above Jupiter, Pluto and Taurus, so very powerful career, transformative, and that does seem to hold up. And then Sun and Ascendant in Gemini. Again, for the pop art, and then Venus and Neptune in the 11th house. For the pop art, both Leo and Gemini relate to that very much. I mean, Gemini is much more multimedia, but it's very much as well a butterfly, and it likes to be kind of superficial, doesn't like to go deep. And Leo just likes to shine and loves to have tons of attention and bright lights and be doted on and admired and be the king, royalty prancing around. So it seems to line up, especially because his career was so varied. He kind of did everything, movies, books, music, art, and he was the center of a vibrant artistic community, attracting all kinds of people, and made tons of money, right? So yeah, Andy Warhol. Very interesting, and certainly, I'm just gonna say it again. Like, I hate it when these people who know nothing about art look at art and they're just like, I could do that. No, you couldn't. Guarantee you absolutely could not do that. Like, yeah, you might be able to figure out how the mechanics of it, but big deal, you didn't invent it, and you weren't the first to popularize it, and you don't have the iconic quality to make it popular. Andy Warhol did, and that all takes genius. And he was right. It's a business. Art is a business, and it's just like anything else. And why people don't, they might value like a Ford or what I don't know, any other type of business that's successful, but when it comes to art, they just lose their sensibilities. Not saying that all art is a business, but certainly it can be. And for Andy Warhol, he made it a business. So it is genius. It is brilliant, right? And if you tie in astrology to it, you can really see how his talents played into that, because it's about recognition. Somebody can recognize an opportunity in the financial markets and invest a little bit of money and make millions of dollars on that. And why is that different? He's capitalizing on his ability to recognize an opportunity through art to make money and be artistic and creative at the same time. It's all, that's where it is. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, talking about different aspects of art, why they are successful, why they are what they are. You take somebody like Cy Twombly, who did these giant paintings of look like child scribbles. he made it work. I mean, can't fault the guy for doing that and making money. Just because you can copy him, that big deal. You're a copycat. Anyone could be a parrot, but can you invent that and make a business out of that and make tons of money and make a name for yourself doing that? No, you can't. He did. So I don't like the haters, in other words. But I guess I'm a hater myself in many ways. But oh well. I'm not when it counts. I give everyone their due credit. When I can. In any case. That's Andy Warhol. Hope you enjoyed it, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'm sure I'll make more videos before New Year. In any case, guys, hit the like button, please, if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think or whatever. And book a reading with me, macroastrology.com. That's my website, macrogoldmachine@yahoo.com. That's my email. And come to my class. That'll be tonight, if you can. And if you can't, that's fine. You come next week. All right, I'll still be here. Okay, thanks. Bye.